Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Ecom Performance Marketing Show. So in this episode, I'm going to go over a recent case study that my company celebrated with a client. So we took a client from $621,215 in the previous year before they worked with us to just under $1.5 million, all in 1 year with my RM5 formula. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this in today's episode. Let's dive in. Are you ready to transform your normal e-commerce business into one that experiences exponential growth year after year using online advertising? If so, this show is for you. Me and my guests will show you how you too can grow your e-commerce business to 7 or even 8 figures so you can go on more luxurious vacations, spoil yourself and your family, say yes to more opportunities, and become financially free so you never have to worry about money again. Welcome to the E-commerce Performance Marketing Show. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Ecom Performance Marketing Show. So in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about a recent case study we had with a client. So we just sold half my agency and we're converting it over, as you've heard probably in a previous episode, where I talked about my journey and my story on how I got to this point where I sold half my company to the point where we're now converting it into a company that really scales brands with the intention of selling them while also supporting brands by coaching them and mentoring them so they can apply our RM5 formula blueprint to their business so they can also scale up their business and they can potentially sell their business at some point as well. So before we made this transition, we were running a very, very successful agency and we were doing very, very well for ourselves. And we had a client that we just finished up with, one of our last kind of legacy agency clients. And this client in particular sold coconut love oil. That's right, coconut love oil. It probably makes me red just saying that. So if you're hearing this, you could probably hear it in my voice. If you're seeing this, you can see it in my face. So this was a brand in the sex space, but they weren't selling anything that was unethical. It wasn't anything that I couldn't stand behind. This was a brand selling coconut love oil, wipes, and they eventually also start selling a vibrator in their product line as well. And we helped them launch that. And they saw a lot of success in the year that they worked with us. So they went from $621,215 the previous year before working with us to $1.4888 million in the year that they did work with us. So we really did an incredible job with this company. We doubled their business, even more so than that. And it gets harder and harder to double your business as you get higher and higher numbers. And we helped them do that. And there's a few keys to that, and I'm going to share those keys in this episode. So first off, let me tell you about them. So when they came to us, they had a really, really good brand. So they already had an established brand. They already had some sales, obviously, with $621,000 in the previous year. So they had built up their business to a significant standpoint, and they had a really strong brand that really resonated with their audience. And the reason why they had a strong brand was because they had a very unique voice. Their voice was super unique in how they talked about sex and how they talked about topics related to sex. And they were just very clever, very cheeky, and they just had a very unique sounding voice. And people loved it. People resonated with it, which is why they were able to grow their brand. And we helped them continue using that voice through our copywriters' work, through everything that we created for them when it came to lead magnets, pages, you name it, emails. So everything that we created mirrored the voice they had already established. And that was one key. And this is a key for you too, because in e-com, in business in general, you want to try to make your brand as unique as possible. And part of that is how you communicate and the words that you use and the attitudes that you put out in your messaging. And Woomore Play, they did an incredible job of doing that prior to working with us, and we just continued what they were already doing with everything we created for that company. And you should be doing something similar as well. You want to have a voice that is represented in your company's messaging that attracts people, maybe polarizes and detracts some people, but either way causes your brand to be super unique. So this way you have a unique brand that nobody else out there can replicate. And this is also going to attract people. It's also going to keep people loyal to your brand after they purchase, products from you. So I really feel like that's huge when it comes to branding, is having a unique voice that compels people to join the brand or to stay away from the brand. Either way, you want that to happen. You don't want people just to think that you're just like everybody else and so they tune you out anyway. You want to either attract or detract. And so ask yourself, does your messaging in your e-commerce business, does it do that? Because if it doesn't, if it's very just generic, then that's a big reason why your marketing isn't working, because you have very generic messaging that doesn't do that. So go ahead and put some work into that. Commit to changing the voice in your marketing so this way you can start to attract and detract people, because it does elevate your brand and helps your brand become super unique in your market. So this way you attract people to you. Also, another thing we did that I'm very proud of, and this is a team effort, it wasn't me, this is actually 100% the team, had nothing to do with me. I led on strategy and direction early on, supported my team along the way, but they did everything. And that was perseverance throughout the entire year and pivoting when needed. So being that they are a brand that sells stuff that supports sex, it's you have to be very careful with how you market a brand like that, because you can't just directly, for example, buy ads on Facebook and then advertise a vibrator on Facebook. You can't do that. You'll get suspended right away. And so you have to be very unique. And there was a time where we were using Facebook advertising to drive traffic to the brand, and we were getting sales and we were seeing significant ROI. And we were doing it very cleverly, but then Facebook decided to remove that ad account and shut us down. And so we had to pivot. We had to come up with a different strategy, a different tactic. And so we decided to establish a unique URL that this way we could control the messaging on that specific URL on that website, and we could use that to drive traffic from Facebook ads with a backup ad account that we created. If you're in the Facebook ads game, you know that there's lots of policies and you always want to have a backup account. And this could happen even if you're doing everything 110% right. One day, Mark could just flip the switch and say, hey, you cannot advertise on my network. He'll just do that. Seriously. I've had that happen before with other very successful brands we've helped, that we were doing things to the T, we were doing things the right way, and one day, all of a sudden, we lost our Facebook ad account and we had to pivot. And so in this case, we had to pivot. And so we created a unique URL that also, and we also controlled the messaging on that website. This way it didn't have words like sex and things like that on the page, because Facebook will crawl the page you're driving traffic to and they'll detect what's on the page. And we didn't want to lose this second ad account. So we really curated this other website that we were creating to drive traffic to. And we turned this also into a content website primarily that had some free offers. This way we can capture leads and then we can email market to them products from Woolmore Play. And it worked. It worked like gangbusters. It worked very, very well. We were able to drive a significant amount of Facebook ad traffic to that consistently for quite some time. And the client continues to do so even after the relationship's over. So that was one thing we did to pivot. And that's what I loved about what my company, my team did. They persevered and they figured it out and they found a way to continue to get results for the client. Because before this happened, Facebook ads was working great. Google ads was working great. Everybody was happy. We were happy. Everything was great. And but then we lost the Facebook ad account, and we couldn't just say, oh, well, I guess that's that. No, we had to figure it out. We had to continue to increase sales to drive the company's results. And so we pivoted our ad spend. We pushed a lot more ad spend into Google ads because Google ads was working, and we had an opportunity to scale a little bit harder there. We were doing it, but we were doing it at a slower rate, and we did it a little bit more aggressively after this happened. And then we also, like I said before, we also established that new website that we could drive Facebook ad traffic to. So this way we could still continue to use Facebook ad traffic, because Facebook has incredible targeting, and so we can get really, really good targeted leads coming into the client's business by continuing to leverage Facebook. And so we figured out how to do that with that. And then finally, on top of that, the third thing that we did very, very well was we stuck with the ARM5 formula throughout the entire process. And the ARM5 formula in a lot of ways is very fundamental. But the reason why it's so unique is because companies, when they start to use the ARM5 formula, before they start using the ARM5 formula, they're not doing all the things that they should be doing. And so we help them do that, both in the coaching side of the business and also in the done-for-you side of the business that we just finished up with. And so things we did with this company was we continued to use email marketing on a very consistent basis. We were sending 3 emails a week to the list, promoting valuable content, making offers as well, soft offers. And we were doing it consistently to really build our email open rates, email click-through rates. So this way we can leverage that email list and maximize the performance of that email list. And it takes a team effort to consistently email. You got a copywriter, you've got a project manager, you've got a web developer that's also optimizing, the blog page where we're driving traffic to. We've got a few different people involved just with that alone. So, huge team effort there. Quiz funnels. We also use quiz funnels. We use all sorts of other funnels actually, but we recently started to really drive a quiz funnel, and a quiz funnel can be very, very powerful. People love to find out more about themselves, and it gives you a great opportunity to not only get the lead, but also gives you a great opportunity to recommend a product off of the answers to that quiz. And we did a really good job of implementing a quiz funnel, and that's huge in any business to have an acquisition funnel, whether it's a quiz or whether it's a splinter offer, whatever. There's different types of funnels, but you want to have a good acquisition funnel. We had one that we really cranked out, and we also managed on a consistent basis, and we optimized to get really good results as well. We also did consistent promos, and I've talked about this in the past, but every business, no matter who they are, but especially e-commerce, should be lining up promos for the next 12 months and should be scheduling them out, planning ahead, and then running those promos, because promos work. There's a reason why you always see a sale from big brands like Target or Walmart, Nordstrom, you name it. They're always selling. There's always a sale offer. And the reason why is because they know that if they keep promoting, they're going to get a lot of sales. And so that's a key part of the ARM5 formula, is having a good promo strategy throughout the entire year and a good promo calendar. And we had that with this client. We followed it consistently. We ran all their promotions, and that also attributed to the result that we generated for that client. Also, having an omni-channel advertising strategy. If you're just getting started, I don't recommend necessarily having an omni-channel strategy, especially if you have a small budget. Focus on one ad channel. But if you do have a significant budget, it's definitely a good idea to tap into an omni-channel strategy. And also it is based off of what you're selling in your business too, because if you do research and see how you can sell your product and who is selling your product, for example, with Woomore Play, we did research and we identified that there was some players, some brands selling very similar products on Google Ads, for example, Google search ads. And so if you do research on your own brand and your product, and you find that other brands are selling similar products through Google AdWords, and they have been for quite some time, then it works. So you should probably do that. And so you definitely want to have an omni-channel advertising strategy that's based on research. This way you can maximize your advertising ROI and get results in your business. So I definitely recommend that you adopt that, and that's a big part of the ARM5 formula. Finally, scaling ad spend as well. That's a big part of the ARM5 formula as well. We have specific scaling strategies that we use, such as 3D scaling, horizontal, vertical scaling, etc., which I teach and I show people how to do. But my company, my team members also know how to do that, and they scaled ad spend consistently every single month over the past 12 months we were serving this client, and we continued to get really solid results every single month. So this way we can grow the business to that end figure that we grew it to, which is just under 1.5 million for the year that we worked with them. And then finally, just maximizing customer lifetime value. You do that through follow-up processes, when we were always following up with our email marketing, as I mentioned before, but we were also doing retargeting ads to customers, getting them to come back and buy more and restock. We also had automated sequences as well that would remind people to repurchase after a product ran out in their product line. So if someone, for example, picked up coconut love oil, we had an estimated time frame that we felt that would run out, and we had an automated follow-up, and that worked very, very well for this client. We also challenged the client to come up with some new products, and they did. They came up with a vibrator that was unique to their brand, and they named it something very unique as well. And we helped them launch it, and that's another way to increase customer lifetime value, is offering more to your customers. And so, in your business, find out how you can find out some other offers you can make, whether it's digital or physical or service-based. Find out other offers you can sell to your customer list. This way you can maximize your revenue from your customers and maximize your lifetime value, which is the number one metric in every single business, because the higher your customer lifetime value is, the easier it is for you to make money back from your advertising, and also the healthier of a business you will have as well. So I highly recommend that you look at how you can maximize customer lifetime value. So those were all the keys that really went into getting this result with this client, Woo More Play. So I hope that you got a lot of value out of this. I want you to go ahead and take this, use this, action the things that we were doing in your own e-com business. And if you need help, all you have to do is just reach out and inquire about booking a call and finding out more about the ARM5 Formula Accelerator. There's a link below. Wherever we post this, there's always a link below, unless you're listening to this. If you're listening to this, you just have to text the keyword ARM, A-R-M, to 938-444-8045. And you can apply to join my ARM5 Formula Accelerator, where you'll work with me and also my team directly. We'll support you on everything from copy to tech implementation to advertising to your funnels, you name it. Plus, we give you all these proven and tested templates and strategies. We give you training on the entire ARM5 Formula blueprint. So this way you can scale your business and see similar results in your business. So if you want help with scaling your business, then reach out. Go to arm5formula.com, or if you're listening to this, just text the keyword ARM to 938-444-8045. Thanks again for watching or listening to this episode of the Ecom Performance Marketing Show. I'll see you later.
Thank you for tuning into the e-commerce performance marketing show. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment with a timestamp of your favorite part and share it with a friend. Until our next episode, here's to you and the success of your e-commerce business.